So we're going to talk about a topic that might seem insignificant. Maybe some of you are going to rush through this video, but it's super important, and I really want you to understand the answer to this question. And just try, if you don't get it the first time, watch the video again, talk about it again. It is just super, super important to me that you get what a project file is. So if I asked you to submit, which I will, your project file for the class, that doesn't mean submit your movie. It's something different. And this video hopefully will explain what that thing is, that Adobe Premiere project file. So a project file, first of all, if you're working in Premiere, it always ends with the suffix .proj. It stands for Premiere Project. Not very attractive or nice, but just like when you have a Word document, it usually ends with .doc, sometimes docx. So Word documents, if you have a PDF, it will end with PDF. A Photoshop file would end with .psd. Okay, that's the first thing. The second thing is that what a project file is all your editing decisions, all your work for your edit, all your project decisions. So every single cut, every single fade, it's basically where you store your work. It's your editing work. So it's all there in the project file. But the important thing to realize is the file doesn't even have any of the media stored in it. The project file is telling the computer, hey, you stored your footage on this hard drive or that hard drive, and you stored this photo of your friends on a different hard drive or in a different folder. So it's a lot of arrows, basically. It's saying, look over here for this footage, but it doesn't actually keep the footage in the project file. Very important point. So if it doesn't keep the footage in the project file, if you take that project file and you go to the lab at DVC and you open that project file, but you didn't bring your footage with you, maybe that was stored on a USB stick or on a hard drive, the project file is going to open, but all the media is going to be missing, and you're probably going to feel really frustrated. So there'll just be all these red screens that say this media is offline, meaning it's missing. So you need to realize that the project file needs to connect to the media. They need to go together. So you have your media, and when I say media, I mean your footage or your photos or graphics or animations. All of that might be stored separately, and the project file is looking for that media. Now, if you are working at home and you unplug your hard drive that your media is on, the same thing is going to happen. So just know that that project file is looking for that media, and if you change where it's stored or if you unplug where that media is stored, it's not going to be able to play your movie back. Now, this is another really important point about project files. A project file is really small. So you might be used to sending a photo to someone, and sometimes you can't attach a photo to an email. It's big, and a high resolution photo might be 25 megabytes so that's a big file, and it might be bigger than what your email attachment will allow. But a project file is really small because it doesn't actually have any of the footage in it. It's usually maybe 100 kilobytes or maybe 1 megabyte. And the file gets larger as you edit. So when you open a Premiere project, and let's say you import one photo and one video and you make 2 cuts, you have one sequence in your timeline. That's going to be a really small file. But if you start making a more complex file with lots of editing decisions, maybe you've got fades and transitions and titles and many, many sequences, that file will grow in size, but it's almost always in megabytes, not in gigabytes. So a gigabyte is 1,000 megabytes. It's usually, even complex project files might be 10 megabytes. So you're gonna stay small. And that's a really important thing. If it's small, it's really easy to back up. So you could have a folder of backups. You could even email yourself a backup of your project file. But in your mind, you need to start sorting out, well, where's my media backed up? And how am I going to do that? And where's my project file going to be backed up? So what does that project file look like on your computer? I have a folder here, I'm getting to it, and all my project files in Premiere are stored here. You can see I have a lot of project files because I've been editing for a long time, and all my backups are here too. So there's tons and tons of project files, including all the backups. The backups will have a timestamp of that time, so the main project won't have that. So that's what they look like. And remember, they are small, and they end with PRPROJ, and you should have a system for backing them up, and I think you're going to be set.